Let's see, Melissa and I met on like the first day I came to ETSU, went up to track coach's office, and there was me, Melissa, and Kayla. And I remember this day because I was wearing my chacos, and one of the first things I saw Melissa do was laugh at my chacos that I was wearing. And Coach Watts introduced us together because we were both transfer students. And he made fun of me because he called me a linebacker, which Melissa thought was extremely funny and hasn't let me live down since. We got to know each other really just being on a team together, but we were always hanging out with people in groups. Me, Angus, Honest, Kayla, Ifresh, Duffy, like huge groups. It wasn't until we were on the way back home from a conference championship in Florida, and there was an open seat next to her on the bus, and I made it seem like I was going to talk to Coach Watts about my Excel sheet with all my running stats, but then I ended up staying there and we talked probably the entire ride back. And then after that, there was a time where at Kayla's place, we played checkers together, and we played a lot because both of us are extremely competitive and we couldn't beat each other. But honestly, those two things were probably like the first two real moments that we got to spend together without really any outside interference. But through it all, it was mostly just through the track team with all our friends together. What drew me to her was really how wild she was, which don't take that in a wrong way, I guess. Most people are fairly timid and not outgoing, which is someone like me. And Melissa, she's very easy to approach, and she's really fun. And I don't know, when you're with her, everyone's having fun. And initially on the team, she was also very different from all the other skinny runner girls that are very awkward and socially kind of inept, which is what I was on the guys' side. But I don't know, the whole time it's just like, man, that girl is nuts. And it's kind of like the opposite of what I am. I don't know, there was some kind of magnetism that kind of pulled me towards that, which was awesome. It really got me out of my shell on the team especially, and then later as I got closer to her, we both kind of pulled each other's better selves out of kind of the shells that we kept around us. But yeah, mostly just her personality is just contagious and infectious for everyone around her. We started dating when, honestly, like the same thing with the checkers, and like when we started like spending a little more time together, I was off and on with another girl who won't be named. So after Melissa got over hating me for that, we finally started spending time together and hanging out, and she would come over, and I had some oil paints at our apartment, and so she would sit on the floor in our living room, and Landon and I would play video games, and I'd let Melissa paint, and then we'd occasionally talk. And then I don't even remember the first I guess, I don't know, honestly, we just kept getting closer and closer, and then it was actually Landon, my roommate, who one day, like separately, I was talking to Landon about, man, I don't know if I want to date, because she hasn't like really said anything. But on the other side, Melissa's saying the same thing to Landon about how, oh, James must not really want to date me because he won't say anything. And so finally, I think Landon took her like to dinner and basically said, you know, what the hell are you doing? He wants to date you. but Melissa was just waiting on me because, of course, the shy, nervous person I am, I want her to say something. But eventually, I asked her. It was kind of like, "Hey, where do we stand?" And of course, she made it up to me. It was, "I don't know, James. Where do we stand?" And then I remember we texted Mel first, and Mel said, you better take care of her," and then sent a bunch of the stabbing knife emojis. And so since then I've been very wary of letting her down. God, there's so many. In fact, one of the most annoying things is how quotable, or how many quotes that she can remember from movies. Because the movies she likes are nothing like the ones I like. I like really gory, depressing, like war movies or sci-fi, and Melissa likes Our Idiot Brother, things like I can't remember even, but I couldn't keep up when I visited the first time in Arizona with Mel and Melissa quoting movies the entire time. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to watch all of these movies so I can catch up. And over the past 4 years, I guess I'm finally getting there, as Melissa has coerced me into watching all these movies with her. Let's see, favorite shows. Well, she's watched Friends about 8 times, Frasier about 8 times all the way through. She's on How I Met Your Mother right now, Desperate Housewives. We're watching This Is Us right now. But movies-wise, gosh, there could be hundreds that I don't even know about or haven't seen. Melissa likes to unwind with a dark room, a soft couch, some Tanqueray and tonic with extra limes inside of a short glass with stirring straws, or with some boxed wine, which is very cheap and easy to keep in the fridge for more than 2 weeks. And then, but yeah, other than that, that's the only way she unwinds, with a glass of wine or a nice drink. And we like to come home after work and sit on the couch, watch TV, and play with the dogs. And I guess June or Harvey, who's back here sleeping, are both extra cuddly in the evenings. And so if she's got a glass of wine and she has one of the dogs in her lap, she's pretty good. Melissa has some quirks. The most commonly known to the public is her snort, which took me about a week to get past, because I thought it was hilarious. And a lot of people that meet her think it's hilarious because they have no idea what's happening. But one thing that people don't know is that she hates farts, which is, I've spent 4 years trying to get her to think they're funny, but apparently they're disgusting. But one weird thing she does is if you're ever on an elevator with her, she farts in the elevator no matter what. And I've only heard her fart a couple times, but if we're in an elevator, 100% every time she's farting, and she won't claim it, but I know she did it. We both like to be outside with the dogs and take them for walks. If I'm not upstairs on the computer doing stuff or watching Netflix, or we're usually together on the weekends doing errands or running around with Lexi and Steven or Kayla, or gosh, we hang out with Lexi and Steven all the time now. But we're pretty boring. For fun, our fun is just staying in now, which is fine. But mostly just hanging out with the dogs and going out to dinner and just chillaxing. I really fucked this one up. There are an infinite amount of things that I love about Melissa. But in particular, my favorites are how she can go from 0 to 100 really quick. And sometimes that can be a double-edged sword, but there's never a time where she's really down for too long. Like, she's really good at, when she's happy, it's like top of the world, and whereas I'm kind of the opposite. Like, if I'm depressed, I just want to be alone or mad about something, and part of the reason I love her is like she pulls me out of that, I guess, and it forces me to be a little more emotional. I'm kind of apathetic towards some things, but that's the main thing. And really, like, on top of her personality, it's just like she wants to grow. She's always wanting to do better, or she's extremely fiercely competitive, which is something to me that's so valuable in a relationship and just in life, because a lot of people, I think, are just okay with settling. And sometimes, I mean, we all settle, and even I try to keep up, but she's nonstop all the time, and it's crazy to me how hard she can work. And when I think about, like, what's to come, there's no ceiling to what she'll achieve. And, like, it'd be one of the things I love is, especially thinking about it now, is like in like less than 2 months, I'll get to be right there by her side, watching her do those things, and seeing her succeed is kind of one of my favorite things to think about. I'm not really sure what she loves about me. If I would guess, it'd be how attractive I am. God, that was conceited. It was a joke. I'm kind of the exact opposite of her personality, which works in so many ways. But nothing really phases me. I'm pretty laid back and easygoing. I'm open for anything, but at the same time, I can tighten up the reins if I need to. But I don't know. You'll have to let her tell you that. When I think about the future with her, it's kind of, we talk about this kind of all the time, like what we want. And it's like kind of like what I said earlier, what we want is like for each of us to never stop pushing each other. We want to grow something ourselves, which I guess is like somewhat cliche. Every couple wants to do that when they start, but like on a physical level, we want to like create something, or own our own business, or own a plot of land, or like create almost a product that came from both of us, I guess, and start something of our own. Because I know Melissa hates people telling her what to do, and I just hate being stuck kind of where I am in school. But when I think about the future, it's like together we could really start something from the ground up and build it into something special that we could both have. But I don't know, I'm excited. We've got we talk about kids, we talk about our house, where we want to move, what we want to do. And I know Melissa has some plan for the future, for the next year, month, 3 months, 5 years, 10 years. But I don't know, I'm there along for the ride, support in any way I can, love her, and hopefully we'll just keep on pushing ourselves to something that we can be proud of by the time we are so old that we can barely stand up.
Hit it!
Should we we'll stand and point at things?
Yeah. And then
Here, do a little test right here.
hello.
Welcome
This is to
May and JJ, a history. Should we sit down? What better way to demonstrate Melissa and James's relationship than through a history
Trifold.
of their relationship on a trifold?
So this is where it all began.
Right there.
Paper cranes. In the fall of September 2012, when James
September.
well, then it started then when we were at a cross country meet at Virginia Tech, and it was near Peace Day, and so I had everyone folding paper cranes at their own will. They were not forced, and it was me and Landon and James and Melissa, and James kept cracking jokes about having to hunt for paper cranes. Made no sense, but you know, at least Melissa was laughing.
Melissa and James used to get together all the time at our old apartment to play checkers on Kayla's old Chinese chessboard. They had a great time just playing checkers together in our apartment, even if we weren't there.
And aside from checkers, they would go back to James and Landon's place to paint. Sunday afternoons were meant for painting. They really were painting.
Yeah.
What's next?
The
Oh,
swings.
the
Okay.
swings, the woods. That was,
At a swing in the woods behind ETSU.
and it was late one night, and we all were back at Landon and James, and I guess Melissa had a sudden urge to run off to the woods, like 11 o'clock at night.
And James followed her.
Yeah, and they went to the swing.
It was a fun swing.
Yeah.
We don't know this story, right?
Oh,
But
that involved Kelsey. Melissa, you probably could shed more light on that. I don't really remember. But I thought nobody could find James or something like that, because he was, like, scaling a building.
he likes to like play hide and seek
Yeah. Yeah.
by himself. He was probably hiding and you were looking for him.
Yeah. We were all on a street corner, and Kelsey was like, "Where's Jimmy Bob?"
Then you guys got June, which we can't decide which dog is June. This is June.
You know.
After James begged Melissa probably
Stunning
for months.
resemblances.
June's such a good dog. And we're glad that you guys got her. Wait, this was next. All right, so this was a day that James really showed us that he was a lot more patient than Steven, because Melissa and I were so busy cracking up instead of paddling our kayak that we sunk it. We didn't even realize we were sinking it. We just thought it was funny that we couldn't paddle. And then Stephen was really frustrated with us, but James was very patient and towed us back to shore, for which we were very appreciative. Who knows? We
They
probably
would've
just would have drowned in the lake.
Lastly, this is them running.
In Atlanta at the park.
Running is a big part of their lives, but especially this day, when they were
They got
running
engaged.
by a body of water we cannot figure
A
out,
pond or a fountain or something.
or an ocean. Yes, so that's them, and they're now engaged, and this is their history as they what did I say last time? Run towards the future of
Together forever.
and never apart. What is it?
Maybe in distance, but never
Not
in heart. There you go. Then they got Harvey. That's last. And
Love
Harvey's
it.
super cute little puppy. Also James's dog, because Melissa doesn't want to claim that she has two dogs. That's the history of Melissa and James. And we love them together, and we're so excited for them.
And we love them that they're artists, because this
because we are not
10 times better.
Yes. It's really a letdown. No,
it's really just a piece of crap or whatever. Okay.
We love you all. Thank you. See you at the wedding.
Hey Melissa, for my video I wanted to read you a haiku poem that I wrote about the first time you and I met. And it is called Mine and Landon's First Date. Melissa shouts out, "She's so pretty, I approve!" She was very drunk. I love you very much. Bye.
That is the stand that I made. You're welcome. This tripod of mine is not super working out. Okay, I hope that's okay. Hi, Peters. Oh man, I guess I can't call you Peters for very much longer. Melissa, I just wanted to let you know that I love the crap out of you. Like, you are one of the funniest, most loyal, most amazing people on this planet. And I'm so lucky that you are my best friend. I don't know how I would have gotten through high school without you and your family. James is a really, really lucky dude. And you're pretty lucky that he can put up with you. You guys are really perfect together. I can tell because you are completely you around him. I remember when I first met James, you came to Utah, you and your family were passing through on your way up to the National Forest, something like that. I had never met him before, I had only heard about him, and you had raved about him, like he is the coolest, like you've had a crush on him forever, and he was going on this big trip with you and your family. And so anyway, we met up at Squatters, and he was so relaxed, like just so comfortable, and so were you. And I'm thinking, okay, if I'm like having some guy meet my family and like go on this big trip, I would be a wreck. Like stressed out and like nervous, like trying to make sure everyone's happy and okay, and you were perfectly you, having a great time, just laughing and snorting, of course. James seemed super comfortable. He was also laughing and just like quiet, which seemed normal for him, not like an awkward quiet. I could just tell right away that, first of all, you were in love with him. And second of all, that he was in love with you. And that you guys were perfect together. And it just made me so happy to see you so happy. And it was a different kind of happy. Like, going up through high school, we were happy. We were, like, doing fun, crazy things and, hot tubbing and dancing and, running your truck into a pole, just dying on the track around and around. And those were, like, happy days, but this was different. This was, like, a deeper, super authentic happy, and I'm so excited for you guys. And you can just tell it when you see him looking at you that he is so in love with you. And I just am so happy for the both of you. And for your two little dogs, which I'm excited to meet. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi, and I love you, and happy bridal shower. I wish I could be there, but I'll be there in spirit, and obviously sort of through this video. Which, by the way, you know how much I love to be on camera, so doing this for you because I love you. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm happy for you guys. Love you. Congratulations.
This thing is super awkward. Melissa and I met in junior year of high school. It was during cross country, and it was perfect timing because it was at a time in our lives, it was three of us, Kristen Millward, Melissa Peters, and Brett Lemieux. I'm Brett Lemieux. And, sorry, we were all in our groups of friends that we grew up with, that were so close, that we used to be so close with, and we were all kind of fading out of that, and we didn't know what was going on, of why the strength wasn't so, why our friendships weren't as strong as they used to be. And once we all met each other, it clicked right away. And it's like we found each other at such a perfect time and started our own trio. I was so lucky to meet Melissa, and just in her motivational ways and the way that she can laugh at herself and shit on herself. Excuse my language. When she colored her hair such a weird color of pink and red and purple. We don't know what color it was, but I came over and she made fun of herself and just did the Ariel, aww. And most girls, when they color their hair, they cry. They cry and they don't know what to do. One of my favorite memories of Melissa is when we used to go to South Dakota. Her family has land up there. We would just have so much fun and just talk all the time and still have that. And I was so lucky to have that I could be a part of her family and a part of Melissa's life. It's great to meet someone and know that for life they will be around. And Melissa, I love you so much. And I'm so excited for you and James in this journey that you're going to have together, and how much fun you're going to have. And your two dogs, your family. Oh, shoot. I love you very much.
Melissa and I have basically been friends since birth. I'm pretty sure we were born 53 days apart, and basically grew up either around the corner or just a couple of miles from each other our entire lives. So it's actually really hard for me to think of any amazing childhood memories of mine that don't have Melissa in them, because we were just together constantly for so much of it. My grandma loves to tell the story how when we were at the supermarket, you know, we looked so much alike and we tried to dress alike whenever we could that people would ask all the time if we were twins, and my grandma would say, no, they're not. And we'd say, Grandma, no, we want to be twins. We want to be twins. We wish that we were sisters. Since I'm an only child, I always tell people that my cousins, especially Missa and Melly, are basically like sisters to me. I grew up so close with them. And when I was trying to think of, you know, what I was going to say for the video, you know, my memory was just like flooded. All these memories came to mind just because I have so many good ones with Melissa. Even just while I'm making this video, like thousands of them are running through my head, and it's just impossible to keep track of which ones are the best. They all just are so great. But one thing that sticks out, and one thing that I love so much about Melissa and just admire so much about her, is her fire and her creativity. So much of our childhood consisted of us just kind of running wild on our imaginations, and so much of that was fueled by Melissa. We used to make these elaborate videos and movies at our houses with costumes and our old video cameras, and we'd put them all together, and we would just do it like all the time. We spent the better part of a week playing in an old cardboard appliance box that we cut a hole in and pretended like it was a TV, and we were playing news anchors. We used to put on dance shows and dance recitals for our family members, like literally just running around constantly using our imaginations, and that's something that I think Melissa brings out in people, and you can just tell what a creative and passionate person she is, and I think she brings that to all the relationships that she's in, and kind of just sparks that fire with other people. I'm so honored to be a bridesmaid in this wedding, to be able to be there with her when she and James tie the knot. She was there with me just a couple of years ago, so it's awesome that we get to share that experience again together. And I'm just so blessed that she is my cousin, and I cannot wait for this wedding and to meet all of you guys. So yeah, love you, Missa.
Melissa, we're doing this video as a tribute to you. I mean, what can I say? You're one of the best people I know. I mean, you know, James came, he met our family, and you know, that if that didn't kind of drive him away, that much to show how amazing you are. I mean, our family is pretty messed up. I mean, Tony was talking about like cuddling with him and crap at the Boston Marathon, and he decided to stick around. So I mean, that just shows how much you mean to him, and I mean how much you mean to everyone in this family. I'm too drunk for this.
This is a story about a girl named Lucky. Early morning, she wakes up.
I wanted to do this video in my typical Mel form, no makeup and a bun. I was gonna put on makeup and wear my hair down, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be real. This is gonna be raw. I love you so much, and I am just so excited that you're getting married and you're marrying James, who is a freaking weirdo. He has one of the strangest sense of humors I've ever experienced. It is great. I love it. He makes me laugh so much. I love how you guys laugh so much together. I just have loved you guys from the start. You're yourselves around each other, you know, there's no bullcrap. I'm so excited that you're getting married. I can't believe that this day is here. It's just so weird to me. I think back to when, you know, I was rollerblading naked and you were rollerblading too, but you weren't naked. My favorite memory of you is when we were dancing at that wedding. We were, you know, doing all these moves and we were like the wedding crashers. Like everybody was so impressed by us, like, oh yeah, those girls, they're so fun. And then we did like that one dance thing where, you know, like you pretend to punch me in the face and then I like, you know, go backwards a million times and then you actually punched me in the face. I love laughing with you. I feel like me and you can just laugh and laugh and laugh at things that completely don't make sense to other people, but they make sense to us, and that's great. I just love you so much. You are such a phenomenal person, and I could not have asked for a better sister. I used to ask when I was younger when you were mean to me. One other memory I have, okay, when we were little, we would play Lion King because, you know, for those of you who don't know, Melissa was obsessed with the Lion King and she wanted to be Nala. I think she was in love with Simba. It was like this little kind of, you know, bestiality thing. We would play, you know, Lion King, and I was always, you know, dramatic, and I would be like, you know, she's like, well, run across, you know, the prairie or the valley or whatever. So I would run, but I would run slow motion. And Melissa would like die laughing. And she'd be like, why are you running like that? And I'm like, well, I'm running slow motion like in the movie. And she thought I was so weird. It is so great because we're sisters, but we're best friends too. And that is pretty incredible.